So, good day, everyone. In this discussion, we will be talking about motivating. So, here's the overview of the topics to be discussed. What is motivation? What are the different factors contributing to motivation? And ano nga ba yung mga theories and techniques of motivation? So, what is motivation? Motivating refers to the act of giving employees reasons or incentives to work to achieve organizational objectives. Motivation, on the other hand, refers to the process of activating behavior, sustaining it, and directing it toward a particular goal. So, dapat natin maintindihan that the company thrives in productivity. And yung mataas na productivity na yon, hindi siya resulta ng chance lang. Hard work yun ng tao mo. So, the higher the productivity is, mas malaki din yung growth ng kumpanya mo. Ngayon, yung motivation, nakasenter siya sa tanong na bakit ko nga ba gagawin to? Yun is yung sa part ng mga tao mo. So in motivating, you have to simulate action or behavior by providing reason or drive to your employees. As an employer, it is your initiative to answer the question, how can I inspire my team to achieve their best? Motivation leads in achieving of organizational goals, project deadlines, and maintain high performance, which is kailangan sa field natin. So as an employer or leader, you must know how to properly motivate your employees. Now it captures the three stages of the process. First is activating. How will you get them started? Example niyan, mga incentives, promotions, ganyan. Sustaining. How will you keep them engaged? So halimbawa niyan, recognition, or open communication, ibig sabihin open ka sa mga suggestions. Tapos yung pag-address mo din sa issues na nag-a-arise sa company. And directing actions towards achievement of objectives, which is you guiding them to the right task and priorities, ensuring that their efforts are aligned with the goals. So paano? Kunwari, kapag bibigyan mo sila ng task, you ensure na naka-align siya sa strengths nila. And you also assign responsibilities, you provide them a clear timeline for each phase ng mga work na gagawin nyo. Now, there are several factors that affects motivation. Number one is the willingness to do a job. People who like what they are doing are highly motivated to produce the expected output. Ibig sabihin, the more passionate a person is sa mga ginagawa nila, the more that they contribute or even go above and beyond, resulting not only in a better performance but also satisfaction in their part. So nakikita kasi sila ng purpose sa ginagawa nila, which is yun yung nagiging driving force nila para pagbutihin yung binigay mo sa kanilang task. Halimbawa na lang sa pag-aaral, di ba? Kung hindi mo nakikita yung katuturan ng isang subject dun sa, profession mo, future profession mo, tendency niyan, eme-emein mo lang yung subject, so hindi mo siya seseryosohin. So, as an employer, sa part mo, kunwari sa professional fields, it is your initiative or nasa sa'yo yun to create opportunity din para mas ma-engage yung tao mo sa bagay na ginagawa nila and also, mas ma-enjoy nila yung work nila. Next is self-confidence in carrying out the task. When employees feel that they have the required skill and training to perform a task, the more motivated they become. So self-confidence kasi, it stems from having the right skills and knowledge. Kaya napaka-importante ng mga trainings and seminars sa isang company. Kasi that way, we are building competence din sa part ng mga tao natin. And also, importante din yung pag-build ng culture wherein we treat mistakes as a form of learning opportunity or learning experience rather than failure. Pero siyempre, hindi naman kailangan na palagi is learning experience lang, di ba? With that, yung mga sinabi natin kanina, nabibuild yung self-assurance ng empleyado natin, nabuboost pa yung motivation nila to do the work, and in turn, nare-reduce yung anxiety nila and hesitation when performing difficult tasks. Next is yung need satisfaction. People will do their jobs well if they feel that by doing so, their needs will be satisfied. Sa satisfaction, syempre, kapag nami-meet ng effort nila yung mga needs nila, of course, magtatrabaho sila. Kasi, bakit ka nga naman magtatrabaho kung wala namang reward yung mga pinapaguran mo, di ba? So, they perform well when they feel that their work meets the personal needs. Halimbawa na lang, salary, growth, work-life balance, ganyan. Ngayon, kailangan ba ma-check natin lahat ng to? Syempre, may mga components per factors, di ba? So, kailangan ba nating ma-check? Hindi naman necessary. Kasi hindi naman na sustainable yun sa part ng company. Thus, we must consider these things, pero we have to balance and address each one that will work for either party. So, hindi natin isa-sacrifice yung goals ng company, pero kailangan ma-feel ng mga tao natin that they are valued, supported, and motivated for them to perform their best at work. Now, next naman is yung theories of motivation. So, there are several theories of motivation. And these theories are ideas or explanations about what drives people to act or perform well. These theories allow us to understand and predict human behavior at work, which can help us motivate our people better. So, meron tayong Maslow's need hierarchy theory, Herzberg's two-factor theory, expectancy theory, and goal-setting theory.
And so to further understand about motivation, we first dig to the first theory, which is the Maslow's needs hierarchy theory. So ano nga ba tong sinasabi ng Maslow's needs hierarchy theory? So ang sabi dito is Abraham Maslow, a psychologist, theorized that human beings have 5 basic needs, which are the following: physiological, security, social, esteem, and self-actualization. These needs are hierarchical, which means one need have to be satisfied first before the other needs. So, ang sinasabi lang dito is that we have 5 basic needs which are mentioned a while ago. But first, as we further understand what this theory says is that need nating malaman that ang motivation ay nakakapag-lead sa pagiging action or goal-oriented behavior dahil kapag tayo ay motivated, we tend to focus on the things na need nating maabot or we need nating na makuha, as well as this drive or this behavior na nagkakaroon tayo ay magre-result into need satisfaction, which results also to a domino effect na magkakaroon din tayo ng another need which requires also a motivation. So parang cycle lang yun as we see on the process of motivation on the right side of the slide. So ano nga ba yung limang basic needs of Maslow's hierarchy of needs? So first one, sa pinakababa is that it is about the physiological needs. So ano nga ba tong physiological needs that was introduced by Abraham Maslow? So physiological needs, these are the basic needs. It includes survival needs such as food, water, air, sleep, and shelter. And na-include din doon yung sex. So these physiological needs ay ito yung needs ng isang tao to survive as well as to live. And the next part, these are the safety and security needs. After we satisfy yung need natin to live and to survive in this world, need natin ng security. So this security includes financial security, hindi lang security physically but also financial security, health and protection from harm, and as well as stable living conditions. Itong part na to is hindi lang about sa security ng ating katawan as well as ng ating mga properties, but also it talks about the stability of our system. Next one is love and belonging needs. So ito naman ay social needs. After we meet, sabi nga doon is step by the step, need natin na ma-meet yung unang need natin before we proceed to the other needs. So after we meet the security and physiological needs, need naman natin na i-satisfy or i-fulfill yung need natin socially. So dito na papasok yung love and belongingness. So humans crave for relationships, love, friendship, and sense of belonging in family, work, and social groups. Sa loob pa lang ng ating bahay, we satisfy this one because most of us, or kung hindi man lahat, ay a majority was raised sa isang tahanan kung saan ay merong social interactions. Doon na sasatisfy yung love and belongingness. So after masatisfy yun, we now go to the self-esteem needs. This is the fourth level of needs, and they refer to the need for positive self-image and self-respect and the need to be respected by others. So, kung sa una ay about physically, about being stable financially and sa ating safety, dito naman is mentally. So, to be respected by others and magkaroon tayo ng self-respect. So, for the last one, the highest level, which is the self-actualization needs, which are the personal growth and fulfillment. The highest level where individuals strive to reach their full potential, pursue creativity, problem solving, and personal development. So ito na yung part where we maximize our capabilities and creativity. Sabi nga sa part kanina that it is the one that includes reaching our full potential. So that is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, starting from the bottom up to the top. Ang bottom line ng Maslow's hierarchy of needs is that before we or before we tend to satisfy the other needs, is need natin na i-satisfy muna yung mga priority or yung mga kailangan natin within ourselves before we go out and explore and to expand more our capabilities. So ano nga ba tong yung connection ng hierarchy theory na to by Maslow sa ating course, which is the engineering management? Even if Maslow's theory has been largely questioned, one basic premise cannot be discarded: a fulfilled need no longer motivates an individual. So, meron tayong nature as a human being that kapag natapos na natin yung isang bagay, we do not have or wala na tayong motivation para i-prove pa yung sarili natin para tapusin or gawin ulit ang isang bagay na yun. So, after fulfilling one of our needs, or kung yung isang part na needs natin ay parang wala na tayong motivation to prove ourselves pa, kundi we proceed to yung mga hindi pa natin nagawa, or we identify yung mga kailangan pa nating gawin, and doon papasok yung motivation to strive harder and to extend yung limits natin. So if this is a situation the subordinate is in, the engineer manager must identify an unfulfilled need. So yun nga yung sinasabi ko kanina, that need na natin humanap ng other goals or other unfinished goals sa ating system, and work out a scheme so that the subordinate will be motivated to work in order to satisfy the unfulfilled needs. Na-present naman kanina yung 5 needs, basic needs of human being. So next theory is the Herzberg's two-factor theory. This theory is developed by Frederick Herzberg, indicating that a satisfied employee is motivated from within to work harder, and a dissatisfied employee is not self-motivated. So dito naman na part is meron tayong dalawang klaseng tao, which is the satisfied employee and the dissatisfied employee. So Herzberg identified two classes of two factors associated with employee. So satisfaction and dissatisfaction. How these two factor can have an impact sa isang employee para maging motivated sa isang trabaho. So in Herzberg's research, he found out that satisfied employees mentioned the following factors called satisfiers or motivation factors responsible for job satisfaction. So ano nga ba tong mga satisfiers na to? Next slide. In Herzberg's research, satisfiers or motivation factors such as achievement, recognition, work itself, responsibility, advancement, and growth. Ito pala yung motivators natin, or the intrinsic factors which lead to satisfaction. These are the factors related to the nature of the work itself. So ito yung makakapag-motivate, ito yung makakapag-boost ng motivation ng isang employee to perform better and stay satisfied. Ano tong mga to? As I've said a while ago, these are the achievements, recognition, work itself, responsibility, and advancement and growth. So, after natin malaman yung satisfier, syempre we have also these factors kung bakit hindi mas nagiging satisfied yung isang employee to be motivated sa kanyang trabaho. So likewise, in Herzberg's research, dissatisfied employees mentioned the following factors called dissatisfiers or hygiene factors. As responsible for job dissatisfaction, as such include company policy and administration, supervision, relationship with peers, personal life, relationship with subordinates, status, and security. So these factors may tend to dissatisfy a certain employee that affecting his or her focus or motivation sa kanyang trabaho. So these things mentioned a while ago are the extrinsic factors that leads to dissatisfaction if hindi na-manage ng mabuti. So, if Herzberg theory will be considered by engineer manager in motivating employees, he must do something to eliminate the dissatisfiers and install satisfiers. So, application naman tayo ng Herzberg two-factor theory. Nalaman natin kanina that meron tayong satisfiers or the intrinsic factors that can lead to motivation or satisfied employees. Even, and we also have these dissatisfiers, which are the intrinsic factors that will lead to dissatisfied employees. So as an application, syempre we must do something to eliminate those satisfiers and install more and more satisfiers. Doon na pumapasok yung recognition, yung employee of the month. Syempre mas maging motivated yung mga nagtatrabaho to push harder and to do better sa kanilang work field. So, however, even if these satisfiers are eliminated at point zero, the employee is still not motivated to work hard. To further understand that statement, let us proceed to the next slide. This slide shows us diagram. On the left side, nakikita natin dito yung level of dissatisfaction, as well on the right side, makikita natin dito yung level of satisfaction. Sa middle part naman, we have the zero level. Ang sabi natin kanina is that even if the dissatisfiers are eliminated at point zero, so mag-focus tayo sa gitna, the employee is still not motivated to work hard. Wala siyang reason to work hard because hindi siya satisfied, as well as wala siyang reason to work harder because hindi naman siya satisfied at that certain level. So neutral lang siya. Wala siyang reason para hindi magtrabaho at wala naman siyang reason at the same time na magtrabaho pa ng or to do better sa kanyang trabaho. So we can utilize this Herzberg two-factor theory to focus more on the intrinsic factors, to further utilize it and apply it sa ating work field, as well as how we tend to give rewards as well as the recognitions, achievements as a sign of fulfillment sa ating mga katrabaho. So this Herzberg two-factor theory makes a point that it's only a matter of being satisfied or dissatisfied sa isang trabaho. So speaking of satisfaction and achievements as well as recognition, doon napapasok yung next theory natin, which is the expectancy theory. Next slide. Expectancy theory naman, a motivation model based on the assumption that an individual will work depending on his or her perception of the probability of these expectations to happen. So from the word itself, expectancy, expect. So may certain expectation yung isang tao para ma-motivate siya. So hindi naman natin ina-expect na ang expectation ng isang tao na to be motivated is a dissatisfier. It is because of a satisfier. So doon na papasok itong theory na to, that expectancy theory is based on something that we aim or we look ahead as a reward to do better and to do good sa certain task na na-assign sa atin. Theory possess the idea that motivation is determined by expectancy and valences. To understand those, the expectancy is if we say, can I do it? Doon na papasok yung expectation natin if can we do it or not. Next one is the valence of do I care about the rewards. So doon na papasok yung valence, doon na papasok yung rewards, doon na papasok yung achievements as well as the recognitions as a motivation or driving force to do better sa ating work. Valence is the value an individual places on the expected outcomes or rewards. So doon na papasok yung na-imagine natin yung outcomes, na-imagine natin na sumakses tayo. So pero hindi pala gano'n, need pala na step by the step pala as the Maslow theory suggests. Ang expectancy theory kasi is that na-imagine natin agad na sumakses na tayo agad andun na tayo agad, but hindi pala, need pala na step by the step. Next slide. Expectancy theory is based on the following assumptions: a combination of forces within the individual and in the environment determines behavior. Doon na mapasok yung behavior natin. Sabi nga natin kaninang first part sa cycle ng motivation or the process of motivation, na kapag motivated tayo, magiging goal-oriented tayo or magkakaroon tayo ng driving force to achieve certain needs or certain goal sa ating buhay. And doon napapasok yung domino effect, na kapag may gusto ulit tayong kunin, magiging motivated ulit tayo. Doon napapasok yung behavior natin, if we are motivated or not. People make decisions about their own behavior and that of organizations. Next one is people make different types of needs, goals, and desires. And lastly, people make choices among alternative behaviors based on the extent to which they think a certain behavior will lead to desired outcome. So, napaka-positive na expectancy theory na to, because in the first place, na-imagine niya na agad that the outcome is rewarding. Kaya motivated siya to do better. Hindi gaya sa Herzberg 2 factor kanina, that meron tayong two types, which are the satisfied or the dissatisfied. But sa expectancy theory, yung expectation ng isang tao ang nagiging driving force niya or nagiging motivation niya kung gaano siya ka-motivated to do it, as well as kung gaano siya ka-positive to achieve the desired outcome of his or her work. So next slide. For the last theory, we have Mr. Bryle to further discuss about this theory.
So yung last theory natin is the goal setting theory. So goal setting theory refers to the process of improving performance with objectives, deadlines, or quality standard. So when individuals or groups are assigned specific goals, a clear direction is provided and which later motivates them to achieve these goals. So for example, kapag si project manager nag-assign siya ng specific goals or tasks sa kanyang team members. So by assigning these specific goals, nagkakaroon ng idea or understanding yung team members sa kailangan nilang gawin. This clarity motivates them to focus on their tasks and work efficiently para matapos yung work nila on time. So the goal setting model drawn by Edwin A. Locke and his associates consists of the following components. So these are the goal content, goal commitment, work behavior, and feedback aspects. So dito sa goal content, it typically focuses on objectives that drive project success. This means that kailangan yung goals or objectives ay malinaw or madaling maintindihan. So next is the goal commitment. So goal commitment refers to the degree to which engineers and teams are motivated or dedicated to achieving goals and objectives. Para ma-achieve natin yung goals natin, we need to have a clear communication or kailangan natin makihalubilo sa ating mga employees. So next is the work behavior. So as future engineers, we're expected to demonstrate certain behaviors. So one example is collaboration. So yun nga, kailangan nating makihalubilo or maki-communicate sa ating mga katrabaho, contractors, and also clients para maging successful yung project natin. So last is the feedback aspects. So feedback aspects is the lifeblood of the engineering industry. It helps you refine your work, improve your skills, and deliver exceptional skills. Individuals or groups of individuals may be motivated to perform through the use of various techniques. So these are the following. Motivation through job design rewards employee participation and other motivation techniques for the diverse workforce. So first is the motivation through job design. So job design may be defined as specifying the tasks that constitute a job for an individual or a group. A person will be highly motivated to perform if he is assigned to a job he likes. So di ba kapag gusto natin yung trabaho natin or nag-enjoy tayo, mas lalo tayong nagiging motivated para magtrabaho. So this is why job design is important, because when we match people with jobs that fit their passions or skills, it helps them achieve their goals. So in motivating through the use of job design, two approaches may be used. So first is the fitting people to jobs. Fitting people to jobs focuses on matching an individual's skills, abilities, and interests to a specific job. So dito sa fitting people to jobs, yung tao yung nag-a-adjust para ma-meet yung requirements ng job. And to avoid this, the following remedies may be adopted. Routine and repetitive tasks make workers suffer from chronic dissatisfaction. So first is the realistic job previews. So where management provides honest explanations of what a job actually entails. Kailangan bigyan ng employer yung applicant ng honest review or background sa kung ano yung mga ina-expect na gawin sa trabaho. So next is the job rotation. So job rotation where people are moved periodically from one specialized job to another. So for example, kapag si structural engineer gusto niyang ma-experience kung ano yung mga ginagawa ng isang construction manager, so pwede siyang pumunta ron para magkaroon ng experience and para or mag-improve yung kanyang skills. So next is the limited exposure. So it is where a worker's exposure to a highly fragmented and tedious job is limited. So dito, they are not given opportunities para magkaroon ng mas challenging na trabaho. So next is fitting jobs to people. So instead of changing the person, management may consider changing the job. So dito yung job yung nag-a-adjust. This may be achieved with the use of the following. So job enlargement and job enrichment. So job enlargement, it is where two or more specialized tasks in a workflow sequence is combined into a single job. So it only involves adding more tasks or responsibilities to a job. Pero hindi siya necessarily na complex or meaningful. So next is the job enrichment. It is where efforts are made to make jobs more interesting, challenging, and rewarding. So in summary, job enlargement adds more tasks while job enrichment adds more depth and meaning to a job.
So next is motivation through job rewards. Rewards consist of material and psychological benefits to employees for performing tasks in the workplace. So properly administered reward systems can improve job performance and satisfaction. So rewards may be classified into two categories, which are extrinsic and intrinsic. So extrinsic rewards are those which refer to payoffs granted to the individual by another party, such as money, employee benefits, promotions, and recognition. On the other hand, intrinsic rewards are those which are internally experienced payoffs which are self-granted, such as sense of accomplishment, self-esteem, and self-actualization. So management of extrinsic rewards. To motivate job performance effectively, extrinsic rewards must be properly managed in line with the following. First, it must satisfy individual needs. So no single type of reward is generally applicable to all employees. This is because individual persons have needs different from other persons. So as much as possible, the particular needs of an individual must be matched with the corresponding reward if motivation is the objective. For example, a worker is exerting an extra effort because he is hoping to get a job promotion, but instead, he only received a bonus. Of course, the worker will be disappointed instead of getting motivated. Next, the employees must believe effort will lead to reward. So if employees think that their efforts will lead to reward, of course, they will strive to turn in more efforts in their particular job assignment. Rewards must be equitable and rewards must be linked to performance or interconnected. So to make rewards equitable, it will be based on their job performance. So when employees know that reward is tied up to individual performance, management may expect extra efforts. So for example, employees are expected to receive a bonus regardless of their job performance. Of course, the majority will not be motivated to exert extra efforts, which is different if they will receive a bonus based on their job performance. When employees participate in deciding various aspects of their jobs, the personal involvement oftentimes is carried up to the point where the task is completed. So this is motivation through employee participation. The specific activities is identified where employees may participate as follows. First is setting goal, making decisions, solving problems, and designing and implementing organizational changes. So in setting goals, employees will contribute to defining objectives or identifying problems which will make them more committed to achieving them since they had a role in their creation. So moving to decision making, if employees are allowed to participate in decisions, especially those affecting their work, it will foster a sense of control and accountability. Having been contributed to the objectives and participated in the decision making, the involvement of workers in problem solving processes will help generate practical solutions based on first-hand experience. And lastly, in designing and implementing changes, employees who help in design improvements are more likely to support and adopt new processes. So the more popular approaches to participation includes the following, which are the quality control circles and self-managed teams. So for quality control circles, it is a method of direct employee participation to increase productivity and quality of output. It consists of a group of 3 to 10 employees, which are usually doing related work, who meet at regular intervals to identify problems and discuss their solutions. So the circle includes leaders such as foreman, but rely on democratic process. So democratic process, it means that although they have a leader, the members still have the freedom to make their own decisions. So the members are trained in various analysis techniques by a coordinator, and the circle forwards its recommendations to management, which in turn makes decisions on its adoption. To understand the quality control easier, we will discuss about the quality control circle process, which will start with the quality circle members brainstorm, gather data, and establish cause and effect, or simply identify objectives or problems. So, of course, the members will prepare solutions and recommendations which will be sent to the management, who will decide which recommendations or solutions proposed by the quality circle members to be implemented or adopted. So lastly, results will be measured and feedback, recognition, and rewards will be given to quality control circle members. Next is self-managed teams. When workers have reached a certain degree of discipline, they may be ripe for forming self-managed teams. It is also known as autonomous work groups or high-performance teams, self-managed teams, which take on traditional managerial tasks as part of their normal work routine. The self-managed teams work on their own, turning out a complete product or service and receiving from managers. In self-managed teams, the managers are acting as a facilitators than supervisor. So how self-managed teams motivate employees? In self-managed teams, the team members have the freedom to plan, organize, and execute their tasks, fostering a sense of ownership and accountability. Since the team collectively manages its workload, members feel more responsible for the group's success, increasing their commitment and drive. The employees will get to use and develop a variety of skills which lead to personal growth and job satisfaction. So in self-managed teams, the members are also working closely with peers, which builds strong bonds and supportive environment, encouraging teamwork and problem solving. As they work together, the team collectively achieve goals. Each member shares in the success, which will boost their morale and motivation. So we also have requisites to successful employee participation program. To succeed, an employee participation program will require the following. First is a profit sharing or gain sharing plan. Profit sharing or gain sharing plan is where employees should feel financially rewarded for their contributions to encourage them to participate actively. Next is a long-term employment relationship with good job security. So when employees feel secure in their jobs, they are more willing to invest time and effort into participative programs. For example, a company assured you that you already secured your position in the company. Of course, it will motivate you to exert extra effort or to strive harder to show them that they trusted the right person. Next is concerted effort to build and maintain group cohesiveness. So team collaboration and unity are very essential. Employees should feel part of a cohesive group that works towards common goals. And lastly, protection of the individual employee's rights. So participation programs must safeguard individual rights to ensure fair treatment and maintain trust. Last is other motivation techniques. So the advent of theories on individual differences and the biological clock of human beings put pressure on the engineer manager to adopt other motivation techniques whenever applicable. So these refer to the following, which are flexible work schedules, family support services, and sabbaticals. So first, flexible work schedules. There is an arrangement called flex time which allows employees to determine their own arrival and departure times within specified limits. For example, an engineer is given the freedom to choose his own arrival and departure times. This will help the engineer to manage his personal and work office life. In turn, of course, the engineer will be motivated. Next is family support services. Companies provide assistance for the employees to lessen the burden of their obligation to their children. For example, a multinational company in a far-flung Davao province has even opened an elementary and a high school within the plantation site. Last, sabbaticals. So it is one given to an employee after a certain number of years of service. So the employee is allowed to go on leave for 2 months to 1 year with pay to give him time for family, recreations, and travel. It is expected that when employee returns for work, his motivations improve.
Okay, so to summarize everything, babalikan lang natin. So motivating is the management action of giving employees reasons or incentives to work to achieve organizational objectives. Motivation is the process of activating behavior, sustaining, and directing it towards a particular goal. The factors contributing to motivation consist of willingness to do a job, self-confidence in carrying out a task, and C, need satisfaction. And there are 4 theories of motivation that are crucial to management. Yung mga nabanggit kanina. We have the Maslow's needs hierarchy theory, Herzberg's 2-factor theory, expectancy theory, and goal-setting theory. And then yung various techniques of motivation naman consists of the following: motivation through job design, motivation through rewards, motivation through employee participation, and other motivation techniques such as flexible work schedules, family support services, and sabbaticals. So you see, motivation plays a vital role in engineering management as it drives individuals and teams to perform at their best. By understanding and applying motivational strategies, managers can enhance productivity and achieve organizational goals more effectively. Saka it's more than just about motivation kasi it tells us the value of people pagdating sa workplace. Remember, people are considered the most important resource. Kahit gaano ka pa katalino, kahit gaano ka pa ka-techy, sino mag-ooperate niyan? Saka who will help you to put your ideas into reality? So motivated people drive success, and motivated ones causes delays or failures. So kung umabot ka sa puntong to, maraming salamat. Good night.